Yeah, he's a commitment that we've made.
You have to balance two things here.
I'm Josh. I'm working on my PhD in Islamic Studies. My areas of interest are Pakistan, Yemen, and Somalia.
I'm Charlie. I've danced salsa with cocaine bandits in Colombia, surfed across the border into Mexico, and have a master's in applied linguistics.
I'm Nate. I grew up in Bolivia. My specialty is radical Shia politics. I've edited a book on Hezbollah, and I've had tea with some of the wealthiest men in the Middle East.
We surf,
Dodge bullets.
And we go to the ends of the earth for the sake of adventure.
You can call us Blakkbox. Last night we heard on the news that there was fresh bombing in the south, so we ran out of Tyre, also known as Sur, and its population of journalists to try to get shelled.
Huge explosion. Another one just went off 2 minutes ago. It doesn't seem like it's limited to the southern suburbs. I don't flash here, but it looks like all of Beirut is getting it right now.
In Arabic, Islamic culture, I guess, more or less, they'll just say inshallah, which if God wills. And there's a huge feeling of if God wills. If you're going to get bombed, you're going to get bombed. If you're going to get hit by a car, you're going to get hit by a car. And there's no sense in even worrying about it or even thinking about the potential bad stuff that could happen. It's just about, yeah, like, it doesn't matter. If the bad thing happens, it happens.
Man, crazy. You can't see the flashes at all.
So as we listened to the bombings, we realized it was pointless to go out that night and try to find out where it was. But we knew the next morning that the city would be totally different.
almost all of the bombing was happening in the southern suburbs, which are, you know, almost entirely Shia. This is where Hezbollah is based.
The reason it's mostly bombed in the south is because Beirut is an ethnic and religious-based city. The Shia, that's Hezbollah, is predominantly south, Christians in the north, and then everybody has their neighborhoods. And of course, Iraq is blowing up right next door and all this kind of stuff, but this is out of the ordinary for Israel to be hitting Lebanon. So there was a lot of uncertainty about what was going to happen.
The uncertainty is that the last time Israel went full-scale, all-out bombing like this, and they invaded and occupied southern Lebanon for the next 10 years. So everyone is a little bit on pins and needles about it.
We had to get in. We had to go see what was happening on the ground. Typically, when we've been chasing bombs in the southern suburbs, you'll see no press around, which makes us get picked up by Hezbollah and go through long experiences.
We arrived to kind of the perimeter, the edge, and began talking to the guard outposts that were running the security ring for Hezbollah. The guard outpost told me I had to clear it with the higher-ups of Hezbollah, and I made a phone call to the PR rep for Hezbollah. And he did not want to take any responsibility for our safety and basically denied us any access to the interior of the suburb, which was where all the heaviest damage was that we did need to film in order to make it worthwhile what we were actually covering. Taking the cue, I told the guard that we were standing in front that we didn't have any problems going in. Rolling? All right, so we're walking into the southern suburb where the Party of God, Hezbollah, their headquarters are. The security's been super tight here, and this has just kind of been a public area. It's where they have the strongest support. The name of the neighborhood is Haret Hreik. It's well known, so this was a very, I guess, more of a political blow.
As
As we got more into like the main central block of the Hezbollah area, everything was just gnarly done. TV station, done, flattened. Radio station, done. Like some of the main government buildings or where they run it out of, totally flattened. We were told as we went in what we could film, what we couldn't film. We took some liberties with that.
That was the press office right there to the left, and it's about 4 or 5 buildings and they're entirely leveled. And yeah.
There's Hezbollah guards around, like in the doorways, whatever, because this is their nerve center. They really want to keep careful track of what people are in there filming what. And so we get yelled at by this guy. He turned out to be this super rural podunk dude. He's probably a reservist, not a main Hezbollah fighter, because he's not in the front. He's trying to do his job. He's in a big city in a gnarly situation. Here's 3 white guys walking along, and he's like super sketchy. He's calling, he's fidgeting with his gun, walking in and out and calling for help. Basically tweaking out.
بس بعد حرت هريك بنيات بس.
These guys need respect, and we have to give it to them. I'm trying to throw him a smile. He's not having it. He's only throwing crazy eye.
Their main concern was that if we were spies for Israel, that we could actually be doing reconnaissance on the actual damage of the bombing and then sending our footage back and actually helping out Israel. So that's the real bulk of his concern. That's his conviction. His interest is, one, to clear our papers, but then also study us and for us to earn his trust.
How long have you been here?
So he told us to move on, told us where we couldn't film again. We wiped our brows and did our best to keep the camera at least more obscure.
Part of Hezbollah's success is that their major leaders, their leadership is secured well. Nobody knows usually where they are, especially Hassan Nasrallah. There's only maybe 3 or 4 people in all Lebanon that know where he's at any point in time. This was a very, I guess, more of a political blow, especially since Almanar TV is still working and the radio station is as well, and Hezbollah is still operating.